In the period from September 30th, 2015 to June 9th, 2018, Syrian government forces backed by Russia and Iran participated in multiple battles against ISIS, Jabhat al-Nusra and their allies. All of them can be broken down into three categories. 1. Operations to stabilize the situation and to prevent the fall of the Damascus government. 2. Operations to defeat the most influential terrorist groups, ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra, in central, eastern and northern Syria. 3. Operations to liberate multiple militant-held pockets within the government-held area. In late September 2015, Syrian forces were spread among different areas of operation. Their communications were overstretched, and operations were poorly planned and coordinated. At the same time, weapons, munitions, equipment and recruits were flowing to militant groups in Syria through Turkey. The Russians had to assist the SAA in dealing with all of these issues. The general course of the conflict can be separated into 4 stages. At the outset, or first stage of the campaign, the provinces of Latakia, Homs, Hama, Deir ez-Zor and the Damascus countryside became the main areas of close operational support provided by the Russian military to the SAA, the National Defense Forces NDF, and other pro-government factions. In Deir ez-Zor, the key task of the Russian airspace forces and the Syrian Arab Air Force was to provide supplies and fire support to a garrison of the provincial capital besieged by ISIS and to prevent the fall of the city. This goal remained relevant until 2017, when the siege was broken. In the province of Latakia, Russian forces propelled an advance of the SAA along the M4 highway, allowing government forces in the period from October 2015 to August 2016 to reassert control over the province. The SAA, the NDF, and other pro-government factions significantly shortened the militant-held part of the Syrian-Turkish border, culminating in the capture of the strategically important town of Kinsaba. The front in northern Latakia was stabilized, and the threat of a Jabhat al-Nusra-led offensive on the Syrian coast was neutralized. The Russian Su-24 warplane was shot down by the Turkish Air Force during this very advance. Ankara did not desire a Syrian government restoration of control over the country's border, as Turkey's political elite were benefiting greatly from illicit trade across the border, as well as providing the free flow of reinforcements and resupply of militants operating in Syria. An additional offensive was opened in the province of Aleppo from October 16, 2015 to February 2016, when government forces engaged the Jabhat al-Nusra-led bloc north and southwest of the provincial capital, and ISIS east of it. Government forces lifted the 2-year-long ISIS siege of the Quaris military airbase, expanded a buffer zone west of the Khanassia highway, the main supply line to the government-held part of Aleppo city, and cut off the key supply lines heading from the Turkish town of Kilis to the militant-held part of Aleppo city. Thus, the SAA and its allies divided the militant-held areas in northern and western Syria into 2 separate enclaves. This advance also predetermined the future of Aleppo city. Small-scale military actions were conducted in northern Hama from October to December 2015. In this area, the Syrian-Iranian alliance achieved limited gains in comparison to the developments in Latakia and Aleppo. Pro-government forces advanced along the M5 highway and west of it, outflanking a group of militant-held towns and villages, including Kafra Zita and Latamina. Subsequent militant counterattacks resulted in few gains, and the front line was more or less stabilized. Amid successes in western and northern Syria, government troops carried out a series of advances on ISIS positions in the province of Homs. On March 27, 2016, they liberated the ancient city of Palmyra. A few days later, on April 3rd, another important city, Al-Qaryatayn, was also liberated. ISIS forces in central Syria were forced to withdraw to the desert. During the following month of June, the SAA, the Desert Hawks, and other pro-government factions made an attempt to reach and capture the town of Tabqa from ISIS, advancing from the direction of Ithria. However, they overstretched their logistical lines and were forced to retreat, suffering casualties after a series of ISIS counterattacks. One of the key factors behind the success of the SAA and its allies was a massive air campaign carried out by the Russian aerospace forces. Russian aircraft not only provided close air support to government troops, but also contributed significant efforts to destroying infrastructure of Jabhat al-Nusra and ISIS, striking their convoys, gathering, weapon depots, HQs, and other facilities deep behind the actual front lines, attacking targets in the provinces of Idlib, Aleppo, Deir ez-Zor, and Raqqa. ISIS oil infrastructure and oil convoys were among the most important targets of the air campaign. Thus, the Russian military undermined one of the terrorist group's key financial resources.